Setting up a space for mathematics. The environment for learning math and for learning in general is critical. A corner of a room can easily be set up as a math center. One of the most important things to remember in setting up a math space is to organize it carefully so that children know where things go and are able to put them back so that the center will be useful all the time for all the children. Clear plastic shoe boxes or tubs on a shelf with picture labels can help even the youngest child put the buttons back correctly. Choosing materials that can be used for many different activities can keep costs down and allow the center to be more flexible. Labeling is so important. Even if you don't have clear containers, the labels will show where the learning objects go. Another trick for getting materials back to where they belong is to trace the shape of the container with marker or tape on the shelf. Then children will know where they go. Matching the shapes in itself is a good math activity. You can make the Math Center attractive by using artwork of the children's work, photos of building blocks or pattern block creations, simple, bright geometric shapes, circles, squares, triangles, and rectangles, bead patterns, and the like. It's important to remember that counting and writing numerals are different things. Emphasize the counting for young children. You want them to count objects, not pictures of objects. If they understand number, the writing can come later. Recognizing number and numerals is far more important at this age than being able to write them. For older children, you can add cards with numerals like these on them so that children can match the cards to the objects. Have objects for children to count. You can gather household items, making sure they're safe for young children, like checkers, crayons, spools, large paper clips, or buttons. There are also lots of commercial items to count that are very attractive. Legos, bears, links, color tiles, and beads. Children can count and sort the collections. You can change them easily by putting them in bags, clear or made out of fabric or paper, and replacing the bags often so that the center is continually changing. You can include large dice in your math area. Children can roll the dice and count the dots or pips on them. A second step would be to gather the same number of objects as the number of dots on the dice. A great way to make large dice is to buy foam in a craft store and use an electric knife to cut it into cubes. Use a permanent marker to make the dots. Real dice have a special configuration. Opposite sides always equal 7. So the 1 is opposite 6, the 3 opposite 4, and the 2 opposite 5. Sorting is an important mathematical concept. Use hula hoops and colored objects of the same color as the hula hoop, or have the children put the objects in the correct hoop. This is a great activity for a small group. You can sort by color, by shape, or by characteristic. For example, by how many holes there are in the buttons. The same materials that you use for counting and sorting can be used for patterning, which is the basis for algebraic thinking in later years. Large colored wooden beads can be strung, building both patterning skills and fine motor skills at the same time. Be sure that the strings or yarn have the ends taped for easy insertion into the beads. Your environment should allow for children to think about comparisons, more or less, heavier or lighter, above or below. A simple balance scale can help you to provide opportunities for this type of learning. One-to-one correspondence is important with young children. By that we mean that children understand that each object is counted only once, so that when they give out playing cards or napkins or snacks, they give one to each person. You could set up a table with stuffed animals and have the children divide out paper cookies or napkins for a pretend snack time. or you could use real snacks. We want children to be able to measure, but young children do not need to use rulers. Have them measure with any of the objects in your math center. For the older children in your care, you might want to provide clipboards with surveys and teach them to make tally marks. Again, the materials that you have in your center can be used for this kind of activity. Tally how many red buttons or blue bears or yellow bears are in a scoop. There are endless possibilities. Your math center can start small, and you can add materials as time and money allow. Be sure to change it up regularly so that it continues to be engaging for the children. The environment for learning is so important, inside and out. Don't forget that outside playtime can be a source of mathematical learning. Finding shapes, collecting objects, or learning about up, down, above, below, heavier and lighter can all happen in a backyard or at a neighborhood playground.